There were dozens of cancelled and delayed flights at Kingston Airport as the runway was closed. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. The Sangsters International Airport, which was closed yesterday morning, has now been reopened. The runway was reopened about 2:30 p.m. yesterday evening after an issue developed during ongoing extension work that rendered it inoperable. It had been out of service for about 7.5 hours, having been closed at 7 o'clock on Thursday morning. Of the 52 arriving flights that were scheduled to operate, most were diverted and 12 were cancelled. Arrangements were made to accommodate passengers left stranded. Some airlines have already indicated that they have extra flights operating today to facilitate those passengers impacted. 8 flights that were scheduled to land at Sangsters International Airport yesterday were diverted to the Cayman Islands, and this has led to an overcrowding of Cayman Owen Roberts International Airport, with authorities struggling to manage the increased passenger overload. Meanwhile, the opposition People's National Party has followed through on its promise to challenge the legality of the government's decision to increase the retirement age of the Director of Public Prosecution and the Auditor General. The suit was filed on Tuesday in the Civil Division of the Supreme Court. The opposition argued that the government hurriedly pushed the bill through Parliament and maintained that it was not consulted on the matter. The amendment facilitated the change in the retirement age for the DPP and the Auditor General from 60 to 65 years. The amendment means DPP Paula Llewellyn, whose time in office is set to come to an end next month, may continue in office for at least another 2 years. The National Road Safety Council says that data from the Police High Command says that 6 people have been killed in crashes involving stray animals since the start of this year. 5 of the crashes involved cows straying onto the roadway. The other crash was caused by a dog. Vice Chair of the Council, Dr. Lucien Jones, says 4 of the victims were motorcyclists, 1 was a pillion rider, while the other was a passenger traveling in a private motor car. Dr. Jones said that 2 crashes occurred in St. Elizabeth, 1 in St. Mary, and 3 in Westmoreland. A Jamaica Defense Force soldier was arrested on Tuesday at the Sangsters International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James, after he was unable to account for 40,400 alleged found in his possession. He was arrested by investigators assigned to the Lotto Scam Task Force. The police said at about 1:30 p.m., the soldier arrived in Jamaica and was checked by security personnel. And during the routine check, the money was allegedly found in his possession, and he reportedly could not give a plausible account for it. He was subsequently taken into custody. Meanwhile, the founder of Hear the Children's Cry, Betty Ann Blaine, has again called for swift action in the probe into the death of 15-year-old Jamila Cole of Cotton Tree, Albertown in Trelawney. Miss Blaine, who was a guest on Wednesday on the morning agenda on Power 106, wants the perpetrators caught and quickly brought to justice. She also wants the court to impose a life sentence to send a serious message that violence against children will not be tolerated. Miss Blaine reiterated her call for a special unit to be established within the Jamaica Constabulary Force to deal with crimes against children. Jamila, her mother, and a 17-year-old cousin were beaten by 2 masked men who accessed their home about 2 a.m. in the morning on Sunday through a glass window. 2 men are now in police custody in connection with this incident. A woman who was reported missing on Sunday was found murdered in St. Thomas yesterday. She's 39-year-old Titsi Banner, a resident of Bull Bay in St. Andrew. Her body was found wrapped in a sheet in bushes in Grandspen Heights, St. Thomas, about midday by family members who had formed a search party. Miss Banny was last seen alive on Sunday when she went to Yallas to conduct business. She was last seen entering a Toyota motorcar in Yallas, which was destined for Kingston. A family member who spoke with news media said that they found Miss Bunny after they decided to search an off-road area that they suspected could be used by criminals. The 2 men who were killed in an attack on Tuesday night in Green Island in Hanover have been identified as A1 Richards and O'Neill Spence, both 27 years old, of Mavis Bank in St. Andrew. Richards and Spence were employees on a hotel construction site in the area. 3 other people were shot and injured in that incident. Superintendent Sharon Beepert, head of the Hanover Police, said that investigators are still trying to establish a motive for the shooting. The police report that about 8 o'clock people were at a cook shop purchasing food when a man walked up and opened fire on the crowd. 5 people were shot. One of the victims died at the scene while the other was pronounced dead at hospital. The son of the shop operator is among those hospitalized, and the cook shop is said to be frequented by hotel workers. And this is telling you that you can't hang out anywhere these days in Jamaica without getting shot. If you go to corner shop, it's shooting. If you're in a bar, is shooting. If you go dance or party, is shooting. Even football match get shut up. Not even staying home is safe these days. What a way to live. Two women were rushed to hospital in serious condition after a gun attack on Windward Road in St. Andrew yesterday. One of the women was shot in the head and was unresponsive when police arrived. Both women are bartenders at the Tempo Cozy Corner bar along Windward Road near Mountain View Avenue, and it's unclear what led to this shooting. Yesterday's shooting follows last week's deadly attack along Rusden Road in Rockford, in which 7 persons were shot, 3 fatally, when gunmen opened fire on patrons at a party, and that area has been tense since then. In the United States, a man who posted violent threats against U.S. President Joe Biden and other officials online was shot dead during an FBI raid yesterday. Agents were attempting to serve an arrest warrant on Craig Robertson at his home in Utah just hours ahead of a planned visit to the state by Mr. Biden. The raid happened at about 6:15 local time in Provo, about 65 kilometers south of Salt Lake City. A criminal complaint outlined messages that Robertson made on Facebook, including pictures of guns and threats to kill Mr. Biden and Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan District Attorney leading an investigation into a hush money payment by Trump to an adult film star. And according to complaints, other messages targeted U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Joe Biden was to visit the state, and this man said he's dusting off his AR-24 rifle for the president for his visit. This man posed with several assault rifles that he swore he was going to use to kill people. He has been threatening the FBI, the CIA, and any law enforcers with death if they come to his home. Well, they did, and now he's gone to his maker. You know what the Republicans are saying now is that he was a nice man who every day is threatening to kill people. Law enforcement and other experts in domestic terrorism and national security are continuing to warn people that Trump, his MAGA followers, and the larger white right constitute an extreme danger to the country's security. Please note that the Republicans and Trump are willing to pursue and permanently obtain power by any means necessary and will ultimately destroy democracy in America. The church is also a big contributor to help them as well, and it's sad that there are people of Caribbean and color who are supporting people who actually hate them and willing to put them back as half humans. We are heading back to a place where blacks will not be able to live in certain areas, or you probably might soon see signs saying no blacks allowed in here. And I predicted this 25 years ago, and it's coming very fast. The Republicans are not trying to win the next election by voting. It is to get in power by any means necessary. And if you don't listen, you will learn when you lose your rights to do things you normally take for granted. Democracy in this country is hanging on by a thread, and a civil war is heading to America very, very quickly. On to sports. Spain had to fight hard but were able to overcome and weather a very attacking Holland in Women's World Cup. Spain won 2-1, but that did not come until the 111th minute in overtime, and they managed to hold on to now meet Sweden, who earlier this morning sent the number 1 favorite Japan home. Sweden were also 2-1 winners over Japan and will now meet Spain. Tomorrow we will see Australia versus France and England versus Colombia, and my predictions for the final are Spain versus England. Who will win? That is up in the air. And if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.